Got it?
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense? Okay, so what else you got?
Well, I don't know if this is a tool, but the other says, when I hear anyone say they should or that I should, I cringe.
Yeah. Again, that one is more of the authority figures thing, right? So, talking about authority figures, we like to talk about the ERs, the ERs, the mother, brother, sister, teacher, preacher, leader, employer, anything that ends with an You can almost always figure out a way to make it end with an And so when you think about the ERs as a collective, people have a lot of very complicated relationships with authority, coming from their childhood, coming from their times at school, coming from their relationships, coming from their times at work. And so what happens is that, Mary, you're making noises. It sounds like you're
I am.
flipping through some things. Can that
Oh no,
can that
I
sound
guess
stop?
I was yawning.
Oh. so so when you have authority figure issues, and pretty much everybody does, everybody we've ever met has some issue with authority. You don't like being told what to do most of the time. And if you are told what to do, it can bring up when you've been told what to do by someone that you weren't close to or you didn't feel good about being in relationship with. So there can be an equal sign between what you're currently experiencing and how it was when you were a kid, for example. So what we see happen when someone says, well, you should, is immediately you don't hear that person, spouting off their own opinion. If you could see it as them and observe it neutrally, like we talked about earlier, you'd be like, okay, that's your opinion. You may as well make an I statement because it's your opinion to that degree. I feel you should, at least, right? Instead of you should. But it brings up those feelings of being told what to do by an authority figure. And then a lot of times what happens is you're a little kid again. You feel like you were when you were at home, before you moved out. Or you feel like you were at your first job where your boss was really mean to you, that kind of stuff. And then you react from feeling like a little kid. And so you cringe because of the authority figure dynamic that's in there, we believe. And so one of the ways to handle this is when someone says you should, catch yourself going, I feel like they're being an authority figure over me, or I'm remembering when I'm 4. Or you can just kind of go, and let their should just fly right past you. Like, I'm going to let your opinion just slide past me. Because that's what it is, an opinion. I'll pass this way. And you can actually physically do that. It's kind of fun. Just go, you should be doing, Be like, what are you doing? Well, I find that when people tell me what I should do, I just want to avoid their judgments. Avoid their, judgments is a good word, actually. Right? That could be a fun way to do it. We've never given you guys that tool before, but just realizing that because someone says it and it triggers your authority figure thing, that doesn't mean you have to buy into that what they said is true for you. We wanted to say something else too about this idea that when someone you perceive as an authority figure sort of orders you around, we told you it brings up the stuff about when you were 5 or 6 or whatever. But what also happens is that your habits can feel like authority figures. Like, if you have a habit, let's say maybe something that's a healthy habit. I always do the dishes before I go to bed, no matter how tired I am. That's my rule, right? At some point, the dishes can become the authority figure in that dynamic. And then if you start interacting with them as if they're an authority figure and bring all your stuff from your childhood and unbalanced stuff about authority figures into the dishes, pretty soon you're doing the dishes and you're all angry about doing the dishes. It's like, oh, wait a second. Who's in charge here? The plates or me? So it's always kind of interesting to us when people show up in our group or in a private session and they've made inanimate objects into authority figures or habits into authority figures. And then you feel bossed around by your habits or your inanimate objects. And so that's where you want to go, kind of shake it out and go, wow, look what I've been doing. And then don't be mean to yourself about it. Have a giggle. Oh my goodness. I made the gas gauge in the car an authority figure, and I've been resisting it telling me what to do. Every time I pass a gas station, I think, I don't have to get gas now just because that light's on. Instead of going, the light's on because I only have a few gallons left and I should get gas because it's smart. Not resist it because it's an authority figure. Trust us, we've seen it.